Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Tea with Crema. My name is Chris. I'll be your host today, and I'm joined by my best friend, Emma.
Good morning, everyone.
Today, we have a super special set of guests on our episode. And we say super special because they've been listening to the podcast since the very beginning. And you've definitely heard them referenced several times throughout the history of the podcast. So it's really great that everyone gets to officially meet Jeffrey and Justice. Welcome to the Tea with Crema.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you. Yeah, I miss Emma's old sound effects. Those
Thank
really
you.
cool.
That's not the only person that said that. I also want to point that out. So we might have to bring back the old horn just for the good, just for the one time.
You can do whatever you want at this point. It doesn't even matter. Fine. All this time and effort. Today's episode is about parenthood, which is super exciting. It's something Emma and I could not talk about because neither one of us got kids. So it was not a topic we were going to bring up by ourselves. So we're super, super excited to have Jeffrey and Justice on here to really share their experiences being parents, being first-time parents, and all of the trials, tribulations, and exciting things that happen therein. Even if, everyone says that it's more fun stuff, and I'm like, but them trials, though. Let's not forget about them trials. But before we get started, we do have our tea check. So this is the most important part because, there were those episodes in the very early stages of the Tea with Crema where Emma was serially bringing water, juice, Coke. And let me tell you, first person who was on it was like, hey, I've noticed that Emma hasn't been having tea during your tea checks. And so it's very important today. I really hope that Jeffrey came prepared with a tea. Ideally not a basic, I'm just saying you pull out that Bigelow green tea and I'm going to be judging for real. But I'm just saying I came prepared. Emma, did you come prepared this time?
I sure did because I knew Jeffrey was going to be on the show.
So Emma, what tea did you bring today?
I decided to be a little fancy with it. Just kidding. No, I brought green tea, but I knew someone was going to say something because I always bring green tea. So I actually put a little bit of the raspberry zinger in there. It's quite delightful. So I did a little mixy mix. That's what I did. Justice, what did you bring today?
Today I have Earl Grey with rosebud. And I usually drink it unsweetened.
That sounds yummy.
Do you know who makes the tea in case you want to plug them?
I think it was a Tazo brand.
Oh, I didn't realize that they had an Earl Grey with rose.
No. I have rosebuds in a little jar and I add them. I usually like to add lavender instead. So.
She's fancy.
Wasn't ready for that. I was wait, Tazo doesn't have rose in their tea. Never mind, she puts it in there herself.
Customizations by Justice. So do not plug Tazo because that was not them.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought it'd be funny if I brought Lipton, but I decided not to. Or Brisk and be I got tea. But instead, we actually have a tea. I have Cardamommy right here. It's really good. Very fresh, nice taste.
Cardamommy? That sounds like a tea that Cardi B would drink.
I'll drink a tea.
Cardamom.
Cardamom.
Cardamommy.
Cardamommy. It's really good. I'm not a big tea drinker. I do enjoy Brisk here and there. But I don't really drink tea. I'm more of a coffee guy.
That's very Texan of you. That Brisk, just good old,
Brisk.
I don't even know if I'd call it tea the way Texans do it, but
it's classic.
I love Brisk.
Oh goodness. Well, today I brought a Moroccan mint tea by Happy Lucky's Tea Company, and it is also a green tea, but it does have a nice mixture of peppermint and spearmint. So Emma couldn't drink it, but I'm having a great time with this Moroccan mint tea. So it wasn't as good as the last green tea that I had, but it's a solid 4 stars.
Did you just think that dig was gonna go unheard?
I was like,
I can't drink spearmint, okay, people? I can't eat spearmint. Chris had to get a whole new set of gum because I don't eat spearmint. It hurts my stomach. I don't think I'm allergic to it. I just have I have a sensitivity to it. And Chris doesn't believe it's true. But I'm like, Chris, this is real. He's like, I'm going to give you spearmint one day and you're going to be like, oh, this is delicious. And I was like, no, I'll be like, ew, this is gross. Don't test me and my fake allergies. Anyway.
We'll see one day. But yes, getting started with our episode, we are talking about parenthood and being first-time parents, the experiences, the ups, the downs, and all of the unexpected things that happens. Because I would imagine, even if you were to take a full parenting course, something's gonna catch you off guard. So I'm excited to hear like those crazy stories that everyone has, especially their first time having kiddos. But starting us off, opening up, what is your favorite thing about being a parent with your partner? So Justice being a parent with Jeffrey and Jeffrey being a parent with Justice.
I think, love to see the nurturing side of her. It's probably my favorite part. I love to see her just be a mother. It's so natural to her. It's the part of me. I can be, compassionate and nurturing towards my daughter, but it's much more natural and soothing coming from Justice. And there's moments where maybe I even lack it. I kind of just think about from the disciplinary standpoint. And I can see in her face that she's just dying to be a mother in that moment. Like she just wants to scoop Olivia up and be that parent. And, I love that about her.
How sweet. I wish we had the aw emotion.
We have all of the noises except for the aw. Okay, we're working on that one next, guys. And Justice, what's your favorite thing about Jeffrey being a parent? Or being a parent with Jeffrey?
I have a few favorites, but it's hard for me to choose. But I definitely love the way I think it's the opposite. I love the way he disciplines her. He talks to her with so much compassion and understanding that she's this tiny human who doesn't even understand her own emotions. And he talks to her and soothes her. And if she's complaining about one thing or another, he helps her kind of just decide what it is that she's feeling. And she loves him so much and how he talks to her just as like she was a person and not a toddler, a baby that doesn't know anything.
Jeffrey said we're skipping the goo goo gaga part. We're just going straight into like, hello, you're angry, and I get that, but you gotta calm down.
That sounds exactly like me.
I think that's like I've read studies about that though. When you like talk to your kid as they're like a person and not like a baby, I think it does something to them mentally, and it kind of like works their brains and things like that, so they're able to kind of articulate themselves better as well. That's for what I read from the studies. I don't know if that's actually in practice how that works.
I mean, it's hard to like line up kids and decide like this is the one I'm going to mess up with a study, and this is the one I'm not going to mess up with the study.
This is our control.
Yeah, this is our control. But I heard the same thing, and I just do believe it. Like, I think they were just very smart. Like, you see Olivia, she's only 2, and she just picks some things up so fast. I just think it's crazy to talk to her like she's just a baby. She's very smart, and I think, all she's looking for is that guidance and somebody to help understand her. And I think I'd be doing her this justice to just treat her like a baby and talk like a baby to her.
See, there's a whole reasoning behind there. I just talk to babies like kids because I don't have any other... I just have one delivery of messages.
One
everyone.
voice. Can you imagine Chris like trying to baby talk to a baby though?
It's probably be uncomfortable for everyone.
The baby would be like, I'm uncomfortable, please stop. Okay, so what has been the best part about being a parent? This is where you guys gotta like sell us. Like, this is why you guys should have kids, because this is the best part.
You mean you sell Chris? Because Emma has pretty much decided she's gonna have a kid. I'm the one who's like, eh.
So sell Chris.
Yeah, it's kind of hard, I think. It's not that there's anything wrong with being a parent. It's just, it really is hard because you have to, I'm sure there's a part of this where we do talk about the bad part, but part of selling is you just have to know that, like, that disclaimer, it's really not that easy. Like, they really take a toll on you to some degree. Like, they take a part of who you are and they make it their own. And that's great. It's beautiful because they're making it their own, but they're still taking a part of you. You, me and Justice used to stay up late nights gaming together and having fun for like hours on end. And like, that's just not a possibility anymore. She needs you and she wants you and she needs to be tended to. And, you lose a lot of free time. You have to sacrifice a lot. she's now the focus. You're not the main character anymore. She is, at least in your life. There's ways to try to find balance, but that's a big sacrifice you have to be willing to make up front. The great part of being a parent, I would say, is just that love that you get from them. It's so different. Like, it's so pure. Like, she just loves you so much. That smile you see every day, these genuine emotions. Like, there's nothing, as you grow up, you start to learn how to hide certain things about yourself and put this mask up. She is just raw emotion. And it's so great to see something just so genuine. That's, to me, the best part. It's just that beam of love and hope and happiness that I get from her.
Yeah, I agree. I love that no matter how upset you get at her or how much she knows she's in trouble, she still loves you unconditionally. She will come up to you and say, I love you, mommy, or she'll say, I'm sorry, and she'll give you a big old hug and kiss. And it's super sweet because obviously you don't get a manual with kids, and sometimes you feel like maybe you've messed up or you're not a good enough parent. And then when they come and they look at you and they give you a hug and kiss, you just know that you're doing all right. And it's so sweet. And I think for me, because she's a little girl, I absolutely love it. Right now, she's into toys and dolls, and she'll look on the commercials and say, Mommy, I want that. And she always wants you to play with her, but she also is fine playing by herself. So I just love that I get to kind of relive part of my childhood that I didn't get to fully have with her, and just enjoy the girly stuff because she's really into that as well. And I'm grateful that she's a girly girl.
I know. That's like kind of, I think, and also too, these toys are just getting more and more like advanced, and like, I'm always like, wow, that's like really cool. I'll see my nephews playing with them. I'm like, let me see that for a second. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do get to like kind of, those things that maybe you didn't get to do as a kid, like you're kind of like able to do that now. You kind of know what you want to do differently than when you were a kid too, which I think is amazing. What would you say was the most surprising part about becoming a parent?
I think one of the most surprising parts about becoming a parent was probably just all the negative stuff that came with it. I feel like nobody really highlights the bad stuff. Everybody kind of romanticizes or glorifies only the good part. So when I had like all the bad experiences that I've had, like postpartum, mom guilt, the sense of losing myself, that was just really surprising because I didn't know that really happened because I didn't know anybody else that did. And those that didn't tell me. So yeah, I would say probably that.
I guess mine is probably very similar. I was very surprised at like how opinionated people get. Yeah, that was like, even like up to like you have the baby and they're like, it's going to be a boy. And I was like, it could be a girl, because I actually wanted a girl in my family. It's like, it's 75% chance it's a boy. And I was like, no, I think it's 50-50 still. So, I think it's going to be, it could be a girl. Yeah, my uncle is literally like, cause
I think biology class taught me something, Uncle.
Yeah, but I think because my uncle said like, we don't have many girls in my family on either side, my dad or my mom. And so maybe he just got it in his head, but he was just like, it's 75% chance it's a boy, Jeff. And I was like, no, I think it's 50-50. And, it could be a girl. And it was just such a strong, and then like when we're pulling up names, like they were like, oh, I don't like that name. Oh, that name makes me think of that. And I'm like, it really shouldn't be, it shouldn't matter. And then once you get past that and you have the baby, it's like, oh, you're not letting her eat certain things. You're not making her eat this. You're not doing this right. Like it's, one day Olivia's legs are a little ashy and they were just like, what's wrong with you letting her out like this? You got to put lotion on her, blah, 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 which I mean, it's a great thing. I just think you could say it better and you don't even know. Like maybe that day I just didn't have time. I just think like the opinions, I was very surprised to see how much people really had to say about it.
Yeah, that's really hard, especially when it's the same person that has like different opinions, or when you hear from people that you don't really know. And for me, it always gets to me, but Jeffrey is always the one that like brings me like up and says like, I don't know, you know what I mean? So, and then you see Olivia, and as long as she's happy and healthy, and especially at a healthy weight, she's fine. But yeah, all the comments and the judgmental or the advice, it can get really hard.
Because everybody
That's
has
wild.
Opinions about everybody's kids. It's always so funny. I'm like, your child did not come out perfect. First of all, I'm married
Yeah.
to your child, so clearly there were some things that you needed to work. Just kidding. Not me putting my in-laws out there. Just kidding. We don't have any kids, but you know, like I can just, especially because Isaac's the youngest too. I think I can kind of foresee that happening. Where he's the youngest, we'll have kids, and you know, our kids will be the youngest too. And there's so many like grandkids already in our family. Yeah, I can definitely see that, and knowing like what's actually like being advice that's helpful versus like what's advice that's like it's unwarranted. I didn't ask for it. Sorry.
I also love that like Chris's face is just like so unsold. Like he's like, the way I came into this, nothing changed. I feel exactly the same way.
I just like, we started with the best, and I'm like, no, that was not enough. Like, I just, this is not helping at all. It's fine. That was not the purpose. The purpose of the episode was not to convince me to have kids. So I hope no one went in with that misconception that like today, Jeffrey and Justice were supposed to convince Chris to have kids. That was not it. I really only opened it for that little section of like, okay, here's the best. If you're going to do it, now's the time. That's okay. All this other stuff, like, it's cool. I love hearing this for other people. And I think as the basically forever uncle is how I've almost decided I'm going to be. It's helpful to know the things that people don't really like all the time. And so just knowing as the awkward childless kid or person that shows up, people probably don't want to hear any of the things that I have to say. So let me just ask questions and see how I can be supportive. And then if I'm unneeded, just see my way out. There's no need for just nothing else additional needed. I don't need anything else to be added to this. So that is fine with me. But I don't know. I mean, you opened with challenges, but is there a specific challenge that you want to highlight in terms of parenthood? Maybe like one thing that you just have found to be like the thing that it's almost like a daily thing, or it feels almost insurmountable sometimes, or maybe you've already overcome it and it was just painful in the moment.
I would say probably two, either bedtime or eating. Sometimes there's days where she doesn't really eat, and I'm like, baby girl, you had a banana and some crackers today, and that's it?
No, yeah, that's a real one. Like, I don't know if I wouldn't say like it was like something that was like so challenging, because she's actually pretty good about that time and eating. But it reminds me of like in the beginning we were so concerned. There was like days that she just like would eat like a couple crackers, and she just didn't want to eat. And I remember reading a Facebook comment. She was like in a mom's group, and one of the moms was like, "Girl, my baby is eating like an onion slice and like Chick-fil-A sauce for like 4 days straight."
Oh.
And even our like pediatrician was like, honestly, this kind of thing happens. It's not too uncommon. Like sometimes they just eat, sometimes they don't.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of scary because a part of me is like, man, maybe I'm not, feeding my baby right. Maybe I'm not doing something right. But it's just kind of a part of the process. I didn't really, but that reminded me of that.
Yeah, there's days where she doesn't really eat, but I will say lately, the past like month or so, she's been eating pretty good.
I think potty training is the hard one right now.
Potty training is really hard right now because there's a lot of pressure that people are like, I had my baby potty trained when they were this age, and you need to start buying the pull-ups, and you need to just take her. And I'm like, she's not ready. And I even talked to her pediatrician about it, and she says that even if she's not potty trained by 3, it's okay still if she's just not ready. And it kind of sucks because you feel so much pressure from people around you to hurry up and get her potty trained. But if you actually look at her, she's not ready. It wasn't until recently that she started actually telling me that she has pee or poop. And I always try to encourage it since, for a while, but it wasn't until recently she started doing that. So I think maybe she's starting to show signs that maybe she is kind of, but she's still just not. So I would say that potty training is probably the hardest just because of the timeline that people set their expectations. So, yeah.
It's wild. There's no gold medal for having the first baby potty train. Like,
honestly, like, congratulations. Your child knows to go to the bathroom. Like, it's a natural thing. We're all going to learn it somehow. We'll get there.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And it goes back to like everybody having opinions about everything. Like, I don't understand.
Now, if y'all are going to run me a check for potty training the baby early, okay, now look, come on now. Like, we got to make this happen. Like, there's money on the table here, but
college.
If there's no money on the table, I'm just saying, like, you'll get there when you get there.
Yeah, which is kind of like how me and Justice soothe each other and talk to each other. It's just that like we're the parents. And at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter what they say because we're the one that's running this show. Like, we have to take care of our baby the way we see fit. We're the one that sees her every day. We're the one that knows what's going on. They don't know what's going on. Like, these are just opinions, which are sometimes, it's funny when it comes from people that don't even have kids. It's kind of like, okay. And then you have parents and maybe their kids haven't come up the best. And you also feel a type of way because like those kids ain't that great. And you're telling me to raise my kid. And then even from good parents, like sometimes the advice are just, like to you, it just doesn't fit your lifestyle and what you do. Like, I don't have the job where it's part-time and I can stay at home and do these things like you. I own a business. I have to work extra. So I can't do that. I mean, it's great that you had the luxury to do that, but I can't. So, at the end of the day, I just look at my life, the way everything is set, and we have to make the best call for our daughter. We can't let everybody else tell us what to do.
And you guys are your child's biggest advocate too, right? Like and I think that's something that I've seen so far from you guys and I admire because I've seen a lot of parents who like do fall into that, like, oh, there's so much pressure on this, I'm going to do this versus like, no, my kid's not ready. Like I know what's best for them. I see them on a day-to-day basis, so I think that's the most important part too. You just want to have a happy and healthy child. Why doesn't everyone want that?
Yeah.
I think they do. And that's where all these opinions come from, is that they're like, well, these are things that didn't make my baby happy or did make my baby happy. So you should do these things. So generally speaking, it's probably not coming out of a place of negativity or judgment, but I could see how it could be overwhelming because it's just, let me live. When I need the help, I'll just be there when I need it. But in this moment, leave me alone.
Yeah. In the beginning, it was a lot. Now that I think, and I kind of told Justice too, I was like, this is very early. Let them see what we're going to do. Let my actions show. And now that Olivia's too, it's a lot of compliments we've gotten. Like people are like, wow, she's so good. Wow, she's so well behaved. Wow, that's all bedtime is for her. Like she just goes to say, oh wow, she's on a routine. And they're so surprised. And these are coming from a lot of people that were telling us, oh, you should do this, you should do that. I chose to not listen. Not that I just thought they weren't right. I just knew what I had envisioned, what my goals were. I wanted to make sure she was happy. I wanted to find these balances. So I stopped caring as much. But in the beginning, it was a lot. In the beginning, it was a lot of opinions. But I just knew, like, let me just show them. Let me just show them what I'm going to do and what the results is. And it really paid out. We get a lot less comments these days.
You kind of mentioned, Justice, the mommy Facebook. Well, actually, Jeffrey, I think you mentioned it.
Yeah.
I've only ever seen, like, the parodies of it, the satire of it. Is it really, like, wild in there? Like, is it really as crazy as people make it seem?
Yeah, because I won't name the specific group that I'm in, but there's a mom group that definitely makes me feel better about us as parents. And you see a lot of drama as far as like people putting their personal business out there, and I read it because
She liked the tea.
I like the tea.
That's gonna be a whole separate episode. We're gonna have a mommy group tea episode.
Yes. Sometimes I go on there, like, I don't go on there anymore. I go more for the tea, but I used to go on there, like, if I was struggling with something, like with Olivia's eating habits or her bedtime or whatever, I would go and see. But nowadays, I just go to read the stories that some of these women are going through.
Aw, these poor ladies out here really just trying to find a community, and we're over here just sipping our tea, enjoying. Leave him.
They really are supportive of each other. I will say that.
That's good, because I've seen some of those like videos where they're like talking about, well, my child, and it's like always making fun of it and things like that. So I think it's important you found a supportive community.
That was like your partners bring different skills. And that's like a skill I really admire in Justice, is that she finds ways to get help and find solutions, and she follows through and gets it done. Like that, I'd always tell Justice, one of your best skills is to just get things done. I love to just tell you like, hey, we need to do this. And I know she's going to get it done. I don't know. She's not scared to like find that Facebook group and talk to these people. She's very social. She's very good at communicating. People love to talk to her. She's very friendly. But I love that. That's a skill set that I don't necessarily have. Like I'm not the guy to join the dad's group on Facebook. I'm just not that person. But I mean, she found like we also cloth diapered, and she dug into that. That's a little bit of a story of its own, but like I told her about the cloth diapering, we jumped in. She found the cloth diapering group, and she found a lot of support and tips, and she really handled it. And that's not something I couldn't have done. But I think she did it so great, maybe better than me. I mean, she just killed that. I didn't have to think about it. It was really cool.
We even had like a wash routine. So like apparently our old washer was perfect for cloth diapering. So I had an actual wash routine and not really a drying routine, but the washing was the most important. But yeah.
That's so cool. I know someone who also cloth diapered, and when I heard about it, I was like, wow, this is fascinating. This is a whole life out there. And I was telling my mom about it, and she goes, you were cloth diapered too. I was like, I was? Is that what? That used to be the norm. And I was like, what? I was like, well, it's coming back, Mom. It's coming back with a vengeance. People are out here doing it. Good for the environment. It's so fascinating to me, though, honestly, the whole thing.
Yeah, it's great. I absolutely love it. And she just looks so cute. She was so tiny and this big old cloth diaper wrapped around her. It was really cute.
It was cute.
Absolutely. Like, whenever we have another kid, I'm going to cloth diaper again.
Yes. Ooh, was that a hint for baby number 2?
Okay,
yeah.
Wait, don't get too into it though. We got a whole question about this little future we got going on. But ooh, I love a little early hint.
Oh, that was a good little preview.
So a major component that you hit on is being a small business owner. We already know, that's something that we've explored on the Tea with Crema in general of like, what does small business look like? And so a great time to really talk about what does small business look like or pretty much self-employed look like while also raising like a tiny person. So I know you've probably listened to Brian and Shemaine who have older kiddos at this time. And so what is it like to have had this venture and now you're trying to find a new sense of balance with a kiddo?
I definitely like also run it kind of like the pressure's not just on me. It really hit us as a family. I kind of run it like a mom pop shop. I've definitely been to an on-site and I put Olivia on the beanbag and Justice is there wrapping up cables and I'm doing my thing. So it's very much in our life. I'm sure Olivia will have like distant memories of like random offices that I've dragged her to. I even have this photo I can send it to you. It's so cute. One time she was even younger. She probably just turned 2. And I put this monitor on the floor and the cable, and I'm trying to look for the key to unlock the door to this office. And Olivia grabs the cable and she's looking under the monitors, trying to figure out where to put it. She was really working out there. One time we were at the warehouse moving and we're putting all these things in these boxes and she was like barely 1. I mean, yeah, she was like 1.5 or something. And she's like grabbing stuff and putting it in the box too. She could barely reach the top of the box. I think I have a video of that too.
I remember that.
But it's very hard. It's very involved in our life. We don't have the luxury to just shut off when we get home. Sometimes on the weekends, I tell Justice, hey, I need you to run and grab me this part. She's got to bring Olivia, which I know is a hassle. She brings Olivia, grabs the part for me, brings it to me. During the weekdays, sometimes I come home at night and I get an email, urgent, this restaurant is down and I have to leave my family to go to that restaurant to bring them up. It could even be it's happened on a Friday night. On Christmas, a client called me and said, hey, I need you to remote in and do this thing for me on Christmas Day. And so it's very much in my life. And then you also have to balance that like stress of like not bringing those emotions home, because when you get home, you have to give that love to the people that didn't see you all day. They don't realize the challenges you had and you can't take that out on them. You can't bring that home. You have to be home and be ready for them. It's hard to find that balance sometimes because it pays the bills. We have this house, pays the bills, pays the rent. It buys her clothes. It buys us happiness and food. We have to, happiness is a strong word, but it buys the things that bring some joy to them. So it is hard, but it's the way I found to live my life.
Now I'm curious about, from like the Justice point of view, being the mom, and I know part of the history that you've had in terms of like working and then being a mom, and so just kind of curious of like what that journey has looked like for you in terms of, because working while pregnant is a whole experience, and then working with a little itty bitty tiny person is a whole experience, and so just kind of figuring out like how you have found that balance. I mean, we know it hits dads, but like it hits moms differently to go through all of those experiences and then also having to do all of the other things with life, especially working. And so what has that looked like for you?
When I found out I was pregnant, I was actually working at Starbucks. So you're on your feet all day. You're rushing to get drinks ready, to get this money and give people their drinks and all that. So it was actually a really rough time because my doctor was like, you need to take breaks. You have to sit down. But the manager didn't want me to. And I was like, oh, this is really hard because how am I supposed to get into my doctor? This is my first baby versus what the company I was working for wanted. And so it was just really hard. And I was actually really, really unhappy working there. As much as I loved the job itself and the people that I worked with, I just wasn't happy. And then my father had passed away, which took a big toll, on my emotions. And Jeffrey was like, if you're just really that unhappy, maybe just stay home. So I did. And that was really nice. I stayed home from my second trimester up until, I had the baby. And then after I had the baby, I went through postpartum and I stayed home for about 10 months. And I just told Jeffrey, I was like, I can't be at home anymore. I've got to, it's like the mom guilt. You want to be there for your baby all the time, but you really do need that break. So we put her in Montessori and then I started working. And from then, just that work-life balance. I mean, it was a little bit hard because you feel really guilty leaving your baby with somebody else to do, during the day work while you're working. So whenever she comes home or I go and pick her up, I feel like I'm just a better mom for it. So Montessori has been the best thing for us because she's learned a lot and it helps us teach her more. And it's been really great. And just working full time, I got used to it. Working, I stopped feeling mom guilt. And I just look forward to seeing her when I got home. And it's honestly not that hard, at least for me. I think I had a really good balance with it, her going to school, me going to work, us being home together as a family. I think it was really nice. It wasn't that hard for me.
That is a fresh I don't think I've heard of anyone who's usually you just hear people oh, I need more time. I need more time to be at home. But I guess that's also coming from where I'm working, where you get 6 weeks, which is, it's not the same as 10 months. It's just, so I would imagine when you're after a little bit longer time to actually be at home, to get to know who your baby is, to go through all of those things, it is a little bit different. And you could start to feel, it makes sense that it's okay, I've done this part. I feel ready. I'm ready to go. Where I'm just hearing a lot of people who are 6 weeks, 12 weeks. That's really not that much time at all. And I'm not sure that it sounds like even you would have been ready at 6 or 12 weeks. If that was what the corporation wanted from you, that would have been potentially even more challenging. And so I just I don't know how people do it after a month and a half. Literally, that's it. A month and a half. And now it's time.
Yeah, that's really tough. I just feel lucky and we're fortunate enough that I was able to just not work at all. I quit Starbucks and I was able to stay home with Olivia for what I thought was a long time, 10 months.
I really didn't like it. When Justice came home and she's like, yeah, the manager wants me to do this and work like this. And it's just she did not care about Justice at all. Yeah. At all. Not even it was crazy. How do you tell this pregnant woman stuff like this? I thought it was insane. And I was like, if you're really not that happy, just leave.
Yeah.
And another point, you mentioning the 6 weeks and not being ready, Justice, her postpartum lasted a good minute. And I think for at least 2 months after that baby, I almost didn't recognize Justice. She was very sad. She was a very different person. And I think it's insane to only have that time that you're still depressed. And they're like, okay, you barely, you haven't even figured yourself out. You're depressed. A part of you feels like you don't want this baby, but you love this baby. And then get back to work. It's insane.
I think this is just one of those things that people don't speak up about. But I honestly didn't feel any love for Olivia until she was about 6 months old. I was on autopilot. I was on survival mode. I mean, even when she was around 2 months old, I had a routine down. I had her feeding schedules. I didn't really plan out her nap times, but I had her feeding schedules down to the certain specific hour. I even had a little binder of a guide of, just writing things down and tracking. So I was doing everything and I feel bad because I was literally just doing the basics to just keep this baby alive. And my postpartum was just really bad. Yeah, it wasn't until around 6 months was when I really started to enjoy her. And that's just not something that many people talk about. I even told my sisters, and one of my sisters that actually has kids was like, yeah, I went through that too. And I was like, thanks for telling me. Like, I wish, and I understand not every woman gets postpartum, but I would have at least liked to know. And when I recognized the signs within myself, that's when I started to get help. But yeah, it was really hard. And Starbucks didn't make it any easier because it took them a long time to even consider what the doctor was ordering for me to have breaks and stuff. And then when my dad passed away, they didn't even offer me any bereavement. I went home that Monday, even though his funeral was that weekend. I went to work that Monday, even though his funeral was that weekend. And I think I worked for like a few more days and then I quit.
There is a lot of I feel like there was a lot of lawsuit happening things. Like there's so many, I feel like there's a lot of protections for pregnant women in the workplace. That's why I'm kind of concerned that this was happening to you.
Yeah, and I had no idea what bereavement was. And I never lost someone that close to me, but I remember he passed away on a Tuesday and I was scheduled Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off already. So I had told my manager that I was only going to miss that Thursday. And I flew to Texas that Wednesday night for his funeral on Friday. And she texted me Saturday if I was still coming home, if I was still going to work on Monday. And I was like, I guess. And I was just so mind blown that I wasn't offered any kind of time off.
Or empathy or compassion like a normal human. I think it was your manager. I'm seeing some not so great things. Which store were you at again? Give us that number, girl. Store number bleep bleep bleep.
Got some investigations to do.
What the heck? That is crazy. And that is so sad. That makes me so sad that was your experience with that. At a time when, you needed to be mourning, and a time when you're also pregnant and with your first child, and people always talk about that's so sad. And I'm sorry that you went through that, and we're again at Starbucks. Please shut us down. Please shut down this episode so we can have a real conversation. I just want to have a couple of words with you really quickly.
Yeah. And I feel like the postpartum did go away on its own, but I think it turned into postpartum anxiety. Because I get a lot of anxious thoughts, don't run too fast or you'll slip and fall, and I feel like that's normal. And I've noticed that all moms get anxious like that. So I just tell myself that what I'm feeling is normal. And then I try not to be helicopter-y. And he tells me, he's like, babe, you need to relax. Everything is fine. You don't want to be a helicopter parent. And I'm like, no, I don't. I don't want to do that.
So were there things that you sprinkled them all throughout, but were there one or two nuggets of knowledge that you think would have been particularly beneficial before going into parenthood? Things that you would like to, because again, you've mentioned quite a few things throughout already. And so just some things that you wanted to kind of honor in the sense of no, these are some things that I definitely wish someone could have pulled me aside or let me know ahead of time. This is parenthood.
I mean, this one is kind of if I had to give advice to a new parent, because it is something I wish we knew, but we actually did know. We got very lucky. One of my clients, he's a really great guy, very successful. He's got 7 kids now. Yeah. And his wife was just the number one thing, build routines. This is the most important thing, build routines. And so, I mean, to any parent, luckily I went in with that advice, but had I not, that's the advice I would have wished for. Building very strong routines, that helped us so much. Olivia has a good bedtime. We always tried to get to her before she cried rather than when she cried. So we were already I think, to some point she knew okay, this is the time I'm going to eat. Okay, this is the time they change this. Oh, this is the time I go to sleep. Those routines were so strong, really helped us out a lot. And that's one. 2, affording it financially. I wish I had a little more insight on that. You hear it all the time, kids aren't cheap and stuff like that. But when you I wish people really got into those numbers so I had a little more perspective on it. daycare alone, I pay almost $1,200 a month. Yeah, Montessori is not cheap, and I pay the extra for Montessori. But to be honest, any daycare is not cheap. Like even like a not so great daycare is still like $800 a month or something. So I'd rather pay the $400 extra and know that she's getting like a type of education with the daycare. But yeah, I mean, daycare is crazy expensive. I wish I knew that. That was one. And then a third one that I wish I knew going into this. Again, it's kind of like the thing they already tell you, and I already mentioned it, but I would just really wish I knew how much of our life was going to be kind of taken away.
Yeah.
I really wish I realized how severe it was. Like, you know, you're going to have kids, but you kind of think like, oh, they're going to be in bed at certain times. You will have your time, but it's not a lot. Like, we literally stay up to midnight or 1 a.m. every night because we are desperate for us time. We will stay up that late and be tired the next day because we are craving that after she goes to bed, we want to play a game, we want to watch a movie, we want to do stuff like that, and we have to crunch that in after she goes to sleep.
Yeah.
So those are the three things I kind of wish I knew.
For me, everything that you said, but I would like to add on some things. I'm really big on like the knowledge of postpartum because nobody told me anything. I didn't even recognize myself. Like the day I came home from the hospital, I cried. And there are times throughout the day where I would just feel this wave of emotion and I would just cry. So that is one thing that, I wish people would speak out about. Jeffrey was amazing through my like postpartum, journey. And, he helped me a lot through it. So I love him like extra for that. I think another thing is, I think this kind of like hits me a little bit like closer to home, but like just how hard it is with just the two of us. Because my older sister, growing up, my older sister is old enough to be my mom because my mom had me later in her life. But my older sister had 2 kids, and just growing up, I would see my mom and my other sister help out with raising the kids. So in my head, I really did see that village. My sister went to work, and then my mom and my other sister helped. And then when we had our kid, we didn't have any help. And it was just really hard for me to see that I didn't get that. But we did amazing on our own. But I just, people say it takes a village, but not everybody has that village. And not everybody, like, no matter how close you are to some family members, they're not gonna willingly say like, hey, do you guys want a date night? I'll babysit. Nobody does that. And so you kind of just have to kind of figure that on your own. That is why we stay up late, because we don't get like date nights as often as we used to have. So I would say that, just how hard it is with just the two of us.
I did want to add to that. That was a good point. I completely didn't even think about that. I kind of just stopped caring because I've always been that kind of, it's such a bad personality trait, but I'm that kind of person that like, if you're like, I don't want to help, I'm like, okay, don't help. I figure it out. I will make it work. I'm that, like, I don't, like, you could be in the middle of helping me and say something that I don't like, and I'll be like, just go home. I will figure this out. I'm just that kind of person. So when I felt that from our families, like nobody really like being in there, I was like, I don't care. I will figure this out. I always do. Her niece was practically raised by her mom and her other sister. And so like her mom didn't really, her sister didn't have to take care of like those kids. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. And I hate to like throw any digs at people, but to be honest with you, my mom, her love language is gifts. So she was very supportive on like that end, but like she would not change a diaper. She would not do it. She came here for 2 weeks to help. 3 weeks, never changed a single diaper. She did not really help. She was just there, and she did like buy stuff. It was very nice of her, but I wish she kind of stepped in and was like, hey, let me take, like, not even one night did she watch that baby. Not even one night. That's crazy. Why do you come here to help us and we can't even get one night of sleep?
Yeah.
Like there's other, like she's got a friend that her friend's mom went there and took care of the kids, takes it away. She's like, oh, that way you can take a break. That way you can sleep and take a nap. Nobody did that for us at all. It's crazy. Like we did not get that kind of help, but we've been doing this for like almost 3 years now. I just forgot. I didn't even think about it anymore, but yeah, we don't get that kind of help.
Yeah. I remember when his mom came, it was right after I had the baby. So I had the newborn. I had company over for those 3 weeks, and it was really hard, adjusting to mom life, but still having to pick up after everybody else. And he had to work, he's got to pay the bills. He did call me throughout the day, which was really, really nice. But it was just really hard not having help when there were those extra pair pans.
Man, that's so tough. But you guys are doing a great job. You know, not that you guys need the extra validation. Obviously, you know, you see it in Olivia and you get to see, you know, like, no one can say that they had a hand in this. This was us, like all us, you know, and
But despite all this, what are your hopes and dreams for moving forward? You hinted at it earlier. I'm just saying, because despite all of these things, there were hints earlier. So what are you thinking, hoping, dreaming moving forward?
Yeah, it's so fun. We covered a lot of negative, but I mean, it's great having her now. Like, we've gotten over the routines, we've gotten through a lot of hardships. We really adjusted. And the bigger part, like, of all those hardships is that it made us become a family. That is what made family. You know, it's not about all the good times, it's about all the hard times. You know, it's that journey. And now I feel like we're a family. I love it. We have a house. We have a very spiteful cat. I don't know what's wrong with him. We have our beautiful baby. I have a beautiful, strong wife. I have a business. We really came together and made home and made family. You know, let's see Olivia run around. She's so happy. She's so smart. We really do want another kid. Yeah, I love her so much. And, we think sometimes we see her play alone. It's kind of sad. I want to see her play with her sister or her brother or have somebody there with her. I don't want her to feel alone. You know, sometimes we're tired. You know, like, it's hard sometimes to bring yourself down and be like, you know what? She missed us too. She wants to play with us. She wants to play with somebody. And I think having a sister or brother could help her. And I've seen siblings in my family really talk to each other and be there for each other. I think it'd be great to give her that. So we are hoping to have another baby.
you heard it here first, folks. Growing family on the horizon.
For sure. And I agree. I do feel bad we did talk about the negative stuff, but
I don't think it's negative, though. I think it's real.
it's real stuff, yeah.
I don't want to say everyone wants to glorify parenting, but at the same time, you know, when you're asking someone in the moment, I'm sure that they don't want to talk about like, oh, this is like actually really tough. Like, you know, instead they're like, oh, this is like wonderful and everyone's like so bubbly and she never cries and they go to bed on time and they eat all the foods. Like, you know, so I think that's like, but it's a real take. And, you know, even though it's a real take, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a negative take, right? It's just the reality of it. So many thoughts to take in. Really questioning my life choices. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but we definitely do want more kids. Before we even had Olivia, I told Jeffrey I wanted 5 kids.
Girl, no. Tell me why. I was telling Isaac I wanted 10 kids. I don't have any. I'm almost hitting that age where I'm like, 10 is pushing it. I was like, even 1 is pushing it at this point. But no. 5, I see you. Because I will also say, I was like, I want 4 because then all of us have a partner when we go to Disneyland. 5, you know, like, I was telling Isaac, I was like, yeah, exactly. I was like, we can't have odd, but we can't have, and Isaac was like, well, 2 doesn't seem like a lot. And I was like, it doesn't, but 5 seems like a lot.
Where are y'all getting 5 and 10 kid money?
Yeah, it's,
that's the thing.
yeah, it's scary.
Also,
like,
even beyond the money, where y'all getting 5 and 10 kid energy from?
When you're young, I feel like everything seems possible.
Yeah, and I want that big family. You know, I want to be in the kitchen cooking and all the kids are like, you know, waiting for dinner to be ready. I want them to be like older and have their own kids. And I'm the abuela that just knows all of these things and all my little grandkids. Like, I want like that big family.
You're thinking long game. You're thinking to abuela stage already. I'm just trying to get to mom and dad.
yeah, this is just proof that she's trying to trap me because this energy is new. Okay, let me tell you. When she wanted 5 kids and then she had 1, and I was like, "How do you feel now that you've had 1?" She was like, "Honestly, I'm good with 1." And then she was like, you know, maybe 2. And I saw her getting better and better as a parent. And I told her, I'm scared to have another one because you've gotten so good. You're going to realize it's easy. You're going to want 3 and 4. And this conversation right here just confirmed this energy coming up. I knew it. She still wants 5.
I knew it. She has to just ease you into it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You know, I can see like, and and you talk so highly of Justice as being a mom and she's just so natural at it. Like 5, that's nothing. If you can do 1, why not 5, Jeffrey?
It would be like, he's so amazing with Olivia. He's gonna discipline the other ones just so easy. Like, It's gonna be amazing. He is
The
an
glasses
amazing
came off,
dad.
like-
I think I know he talked a little bit about how the work-life balance was hard for him, but I think he does it perfectly. And I understand that as a business owner, sometimes you have to take care of stuff. But to me, he's a perfect dad, a perfect husband, and a perfect, like, hardworking man. And I'm just so happy to have more of his babies.
Just for a little, just for a little perspective, daycare Montessori is like $1,200 a month, and then if you bring another kid, they give you a discount.
There you
It goes
go.
from
You get that
1200
discount.
So it goes from $1,200 to $1,100 for the second kid.
Wait, hold on. Wait, so that's 1,200 plus 1,100?
Yes.
That's 2,300?
Talking about 5,
Yeah.
Emma. 5.
Justice girl, we gonna have to sit down a little bit for a
I
second,
know.
work on the math, but maybe you can just do Montessori at your house. There you go. That's how you save money, y'all. I will
Well,
make this happen. We will make
My
this happen.
plan is to, like, have this second baby by the time Olivia's gonna enter, like, pre-K or kindergarten.
Yeah,
And
y'all
that
already been
way-
paying. It won't hurt you. You've already been doing it.
And I was with the baby home for, like, 10 months, so, like, it'll be okay. It'll work out.
It'll all work out. I'm
Oh my
dead.
gosh. Well, before we give anyone a heart attack, final Yelp review on being first-time parents. 0 to 5. Well, I guess technically it's 1
You
to
can't
5
give
stars.
0 stars on Yelp. 1 to 5 stars.
1 to 5 stars. How would you rate being first-time parents?
I mean, that rating changed a lot throughout the years, to be honest.
Yes.
Yeah, like off rip, 1 out of 5 experience.
What about
Not a-
now?
Now it's 5 out of 5. I love it. I love being a dad. I love being a parent. I'm trying to keep your show safely rated, but like, Justice has become far more attractive as a mother. Yeah.
That's why y'all got that 5-kid energy right there.
Yeah. Exactly. And, so off rip though, 1 out of 5. In the middle, 3 to 4 out of 5. Now it's 5 out of 5. So it's definitely gone up as the time has
I
progressed.
agree. It is different seeing your partner, seeing your man as a father.
Mhm.
Yes. I will say too that he has gotten a lot attractive throughout the years we've been together.
And he's like, this is not my final form.
Y'all still got teenage years when Olivia's, dealing with dating and all that. So we gonna see.
We have the 5 kids now, then it's too late to change our mind. We just deal with 5 teenagers at once.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord, help somebody. Somebody help your family. Oh,
That's what my mom did. 3 teenagers just all
back
at
to
once.
back.
Just bop,
That
bop,
was
bop.
like,
Call it a day. Be done. And
See,
then,
my
you're
parents
right. It's too
waited-
late at that point.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine, they say girls are easy in the beginning and then they get hard later, and boys are hard in the beginning and then they get easy later. So I just can't wait for the later years, because right now they're right. Olivia's easy. I'm very happy.
Yes. And twins run heavily in his family, so we'll see.
y'all gotta try
Okay.
then. Twins are
Yeah.
coming. It's on the horizon,
Yeah. On
everyone.
my mom's side, my grandma is one of 19. And I think it was like 6 or 7 set of twins.
Dang.
Yeah. And
What was
I think
in the
I'm
water? Y'all gotta go drink
Oh.
that.
Well, I lived in Mill Valley. I think they live in Mill Valley too, so the water can't be that great.
You gotta do some studies, some comparative studies of twins being born in the valley. There you go.
Oh, no,
Oh
it's
my-
not the Valley. That's a different place.
Oh,
Del Valley.
Del Valley.
They don't do studies out there.
Stop.
What's in the water? Radiation.
Honestly.
We laugh so
Little
we don't
Austin
cry.
joke. Some great little ITX joke in case you got it. But, oh, goodness. Any final thoughts you want to leave off on before we enter our last little segment?
Yeah, don't let the negative discourage you. I think if you really do want to have a kid, you should have that kid. It's really worth it, in my opinion. There's just so much love, and they can even change you.
It does. For sure, it does change you. I feel like I've grown a lot, and I think having Olivia forced me to change and kind of grow up a little bit, or not exactly sure how to put it, but I'm not the same person I was before I had a kid, and I love the person I am now compared to what I was before Olivia.
It's okay. Still not convinced. But with that, it is time for our
Rapid Fire! Question!
I thought you were gonna let Emma do it because of the conversation we had, but it's okay.
I spent too much time trying to
We
find that
spent
air horn.
50 episodes trying to find that air horn, Jeffrey, so you're just gonna have to deal with it.
Yeah, I also heavily pushed Chris in the beginning to get the sound effects. But now that you have it, I miss the old sound.
Thank you. I do too sometimes. I'm gonna go first because mine are usually terrible. But today I think I have a good one, okay? So, when you were a kid, what was something that you thought would be awesome about being an adult that turned out to not be awesome?
Driving.
That was quick.
Wow.
That's a good one.
I hate driving.
Me?
Driving sucks.
Having multiple careers, I really thought I was going to be a singer / nurse / mom.
Well, you're already doing one of them really well. You're only missing the other two. What's stopping you?
Oh my god, I cannot go to school for nursing. Oh my god. I'm a good mom, not a smart one.
Stop. I'm dead.
We could make a whole episode about funny things Justice has said to me. I promise you. Mine's would probably be having access to money. You know, as a kid, you know, when your mom holds those $20 from you, you're like, man, if I had those $20, you know, please keep the money.
I could be Bill Gates right now,
Yeah.
Mom. You're just holding
Yeah.
me back from greatness.
Now, keep the money, pay the bills, please. Keep it.
Facts. Something I thought would be awesome was like having my, you know, like when you go to Target and like picking all of the items. I was like, yeah, this is gonna be awesome. And now I have to pay for it. And I'm like, this is terrible. Now I understand why my mom was like, great value. Don't get the Ziploc. Up and up.
I think that made me want to buy name brand. Like, just to be spiteful.
Exactly. I did too. And I was like, I'm going to buy the Ziploc brand. I'm going to get the Tide Pods. Now I'm like, you know, they all wash the same. It's plastic. It still holds the same thing. That was something I thought would be awesome, was buying brand name things and, you know, not brand name budget.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Who would like to go next? Justice or Jeffrey?
I'll go. Is there anything that you like to unreasonably collect?
Unreasonably collect?
Yeah, like something you just don't need to have a lot of and you still want to grab them.
Stationery. I have a lot of pens and there's no reason why I should have so many pens. And Isaac's always like, it's the same exact pen. No, this one writes like a 0.7, this one writes like a 0.3, and this is a 0.038. Don't get it twisted. Sometimes I feel like I'm in a little doodly mood, so I need my 0.038. Sometimes I feel like I have lots of things to say, so that's a 0.7 kind of day. If you know, you know.
Justice knows.
I know.
Yes! Thank you. Come to Japan. We'll go to the stationery stores.
That was real life. No, I have a lot of turtle things, just like turtle rocks and turtle keychains and turtle plushies and all sorts of just turtle things. And at this point, I continue to collect them. I don't even think I've bought a turtle thing recently. Most people at this point actually, that's not true. I got a turtle charm on a trip recently. So whatever. Turtles, just turtle stuff.
Me, I think just anything cute or kawaii, whether it's stationery or like knick-knack, anything cute, I gotta have it.
That's a very tough one. Like she scrapbooks, so she keeps literally everything. Like I'll see trash, and she says that's not trash. It's like old newspaper, and she's no, that's for a scrapbook.
It's
Or she'll,
not
like-
trash. Are you throwing away your memories?
She'll like grab like a toy that Olivia ripped open, and she like keeps it, and she wants to cut the cardboard and put it in this guy's shoes. I can't touch anything, so yeah, that's on her.
Yes.
Me, probably all the little plastic collectibles you see. I love to collect Funkos and other types of collectibles. I don't need all of them. I think I have over 300. Yeah, I have to,
Emma, did I tell you what this man made me do while I was in Atlanta with him?
No?
We woke up at the butt crack of dawn, not to drop Olivia off at daycare. That did happen. But we had to wake up with the butt crack of dawn so we could go wait in line at the mall for him to get limited edition released Funko Pops.
Which one was it? Was it worth it?
That day we picked up, it was from one of the conventions, so they dropped the shared sticker for...
And you gave them to that old man because they ran out. Mm-hmm.
So y'all stayed in line and you didn't even get it?
He got 2 of them, but then he gave one of them to the old man because the old man didn't get them. He wasn't early enough in line.
I actually gave away the one I wanted. I got Enmu from Demon Slayer, which I knew was going to be very popular in a few years. And I plan to watch Demon Slayer, so I wanted to have it. Chris told me the character wasn't that great anyway, so... And then I got Starfire. And so when we were at, once we got them, they were counting out, and the guy behind me realized he wasn't going to be able to get one. And he wanted to get it for his son. And I was like, it's okay. You can just take it.
It pulled at your dad strings, huh? Yeah, what if it was all a manipulation tactic? What if he has no children?
I think I saw him in dad shoes. I think he was wearing the Reebok. So I was like, no, this guy, I did not see. Yeah, I didn't see a single bone in him as a reseller or a Demon Slayer fan. I truly believe this was for his kid.
Oh.
Yeah.
Good.
Justice, what's your question?
My question is there a book that you guys are reading?
Yes, always. I'll come with you. Hold on. Give me a second. Let me open up my Libby. I'm about to finish it right now. It is Take My Hand by Dolan Perkins Valdez. It's a very sad book. Trigger warning. Oh. Lots of trigger warnings.
Oh, geez.
But it's a good one. It's a good one if you're interested in the history of forced hysterectomies in Black and brown communities. So I don't know why I was so excited to nominate their talk about the book. It's a really good book though. I started it yesterday and I'm almost done. So
wow.
It's a good read. Any other books, anyone else?
I'm reading a book called To Paradise, and I've been reading it for months, and it's
Stop
just
reading
not
it.
Good.
You don't like it. Stop it.
I don't like it. It's so dumb. But at this point, I don't do well with not finishing books, and so it's really throwing off. I was doing really well. I've been on track of my 12-book goal this whole year. It's only been 2 months. But this book is really throwing me off because it just sucks.
Just DNF it. That's what the book talkers say. The bookstagrammers. Do not finish.
I don't know. We'll see. There's 200 pages left. I'll probably finish it and then have to pick a really good book to get back on track. But
yes,
that's neither here nor there. Jeffrey, are you reading something right now?
I am. I should say that I'm actually listening to something right now. One time Justice called me out on that. I don't read books. I listen to books, audible books. One time I was like, yeah, I'm reading this book. She's like, you don't read them.
I said that?
Yes. I was like, okay.
Man, I was reading that day. My bad.
I listen to books.
Me?
And right now I'm listening to, I didn't really pay attention to the title or the author, so don't, no, hopefully nobody comes at me for it, but I think it's Five Rings. It's that book about Miyamada, a Japanese samurai. And it's a very hard book to listen to be honest with you. I really believe in a lot of his values and the way he saw things, but the book is so, they really make you work for the pieces of gold you find in there. He would say something one moves with 2 legs. Think of this deeply. And I'm like, I don't know what you mean. And one day something will happen. I'm like, that's what he meant.
That's what he meant by the moving with 2 legs.
Yeah, I wish the book was a little bit more direct. I'm very much a cut the BS out and just get to the point kind of guy. So it's kind of a hard book for me to read or listen to.
A good one.
Justice, what are you reading?
I realize that the book is not really that appropriate for Olivia, but she don't know. She don't know. But I am rereading Like Water for Chocolate, and I read it to her at bedtime, and I think she just likes the sound of my voice, and she'll fall asleep. But that's the book that I'm rereading. I previously read The Marvelous Adventures of Edward Tulane. That book made me cry. I forgot how that book was. But yeah, I've been kind of two birds with one stone. I've been wanting to get back into reading again, but I wanted to make bedtime a little bit easier for Olivia. So I've been reading her to bed at night. And
you're exposing her to a lot of words. I think that's the biggest part, right? It doesn't matter what the content of the book is. You're still she's hearing words, which is more, I think that's a
very good point, yeah.
Oh, that's good. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have some books that I haven't read that, I'm going to actually read now because I'm reading to Olivia.
There you go.
All right. My final question is, what is a minor minorly convenient superpower you wish you had. So we're not talking like, oh, I could fly across the world. I'm not running at the speed of like Flash, unless there's like a major caveat with that ability. So like a minorly convenient, like it's nice that you have this power, but you're not saving the world.
Can chores be a superpower? Like I snap my fingers and like the room's clean?
Only if like there's if it's just that room.
Oh, it's only that room. Okay, then maybe just dishes.
That's massive though. Like honestly,
I don't even
I hate dishes so much.
I mean, thankfully I have a nice husband who like cooks and washes dishes, but there's sometimes where I just look at him like, I know I should help, but I'm like, done. Nailed it.
I love that response. I think that really embodies the spirit of the question. Justice, do you have one?
I guess it kind of goes with what Emma said, but I want to do that for laundry. I want telekinesis so that the laundry will do itself and fold itself and put itself away, and that I will always have clean clothes and I don't have to worry about laundry ever.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I don't mind doing dishes. It's okay. I got a dishwasher.
I don't have one of those. You know, Japan doesn't have those. But yes, I need a dishwasher. Then I could also have the laundry one too. Good one. Jeffrey?
Maybe if I could like go deaf for like 2 minutes a day.
What?
Please, nice.
Please elaborate for 2 seconds on that.
Yeah, maybe bad word usage. I'm sure there's people that wouldn't appreciate me saying that. But like, if I could just like not hear.
Oh, just turn off your ears.
Yeah, like if like in the middle of like somebody telling me something or something, just only if I could just shut them down for like 2 minutes, it'd be great. Not to you specifically, just throughout the day, like
there's your own thoughts too.
Yeah,
because you have your thoughts racing
just
a lot.
Right there, like just right there, just 2 minutes to shut down. That's great.
That was a very oddly specific like minute time too. Like that's why I was kind of like.
I didn't want to like take advantage of it. I just need like just a couple of minutes. I felt like it'd be a superpower.
Convenient. You're right. It's minorly convenient. It's not like super convenient.
Yeah, if you could do it whenever, it's cheating. But
what if it's like you can't even pick your 2 minutes too? Sometimes it'll just like happen.
I was gonna bring that up. There was like a funny subreddit about this where like people are like pick a superpower and the next person has to think of a way to ruin it. It was so funny. It was the funny. Like one guy was like, I wish I could double jump. The guy's like, you can't control the distance of the second jump.
It's a jump in place, or all of a sudden now you're in New York.
Yeah.
Those are your options. Oh my gosh.
Okay, Chris.
I think my minorly convenient superpower would be to just be able to like essentially just have like a portable microwave. Like I just like cook food wherever. It's just
that's such a teacher superpower.
But only like microwavable style food. Like it's just like okay, and then it's done. You said that now, and then you're like stranded out in the wild having to survive, and you're just like, you know, it'd be really nice right now. A cup of noodles.
Why don't you get those lunch boxes that you can like plug in and it cooks the food?
Word?
Yeah, I can send you a link to one. Yeah, I can send you a link to one.
It's not even a superpower, Chris. It exists.
That's real. I felt cheated.
You imagine like showing your superpower off, and the guy's like, "Okay, well, what'd you wish for?" That's a waste of a wish. It's like plugging in.
What a waste of power.
But
all right, well, Jeffrey and Justice, we're super glad you were able to join us. We are super excited, really appreciative. Is there anything that you would like to plug before we go?
I really want to put this backpack company out. Can I grab my backpack real quick?
Yes, I love backpacks. I'm currently on the hunt for a backpack. I have too many backpacks. That should have been the thing I collect.
This one has just been a game changer. It opens up from like the back.
Is that the Nordaichi?
I think there's like that's a brand similar to it. It's called Wandrid, but like you can open up the side pocket to pull out your camera really quick. If you wanted to, like it goes inside the bag, and then you can compartmentalize things inside of it. And then even this top part opens up and doesn't intrude on the space that you just saw. So you can actually put like stuff in this pocket without messing up what you just saw, the compartments on the inside. It's a really great it's a really, really great backpack.
Great color too.
Yeah, I like orange. I would recommend that brand all day.
Wait, one more time. What's the brand again?
Wandrid. WANDRD. I'm not a good speller. All my friends know this. I need pictures.
I'm a
I don't
visual
even read.
thinker.
I just listen to books. I still feel attacked from Chris's thing where he was like, "Do you put like whoever puts their finger on the book as they?"
I think that was actually my. He's
Oh, was
okay.
it? Yeah, I felt attacked driving. I was like, okay.
You know what? After I said it too, I was like, "There's people out there who really need that and are functioning adults, and I didn't mean to shame them." Oh my god! Sorry.
It's okay. We appreciate it. Well, Emma, where can people find the podcast?
You can find our podcast on Instagram and Twitter at The Tea with Crema. If you'd like to send us a cup of tea, you can also Venmo us at The Tea with Crema. You can stream our podcast anywhere you stream your podcast, as well as YouTube. We hope to see you next time. Bye!